Welcome to the Grappling Grappling Rewind Podcast.
Welcome to this week on the Grappling Rewind Podcast. In this week's show, we are going to cover Grapple Kings 6. We're going to cover the Emerald City Invitational 3, Fight to Win 189. We're going to talk a little bit about the IBJJF AJP King of Mats and Queen of Mats that happened this weekend, and also preview the 2021 IBJJF Worlds. As always on the show, I'm your host, Maine, to my co-host,
Miranda.
Hayden, Miranda.
Pretty good. How are you?
That was a super hard intro to get out because you got me laughing right before we started.
Well, because I was going to run off and go get my reindeer ears.
Yeah, I realized that I was like, we were recording, and I was like, Miranda, we're recording right now, and had to cut it and restart.
Besides that, and telling me things I'm not allowed to say out loud. So
here we are. It's gonna be a fun show this week. I got a lot of stuff. We had a fun pre-show talking about some of the things we're gonna talk about coming up. Before we get into that, a little bit of news this week. Where do you want to start with news? Buchecha had his second MMA win. I've missed you. I watched the fight because it was fun. I like watching 1FC.
He got a wonderful double. I mean,
double, and then got to the back, and then his opponent, I blank on his opponent's name, went and punched back behind him. Yeah. And I got in an argument, a discussion online.
Jung?
I think so. Yeah,
Jung
was his last name. And basically, like, if you're fighting Buchecha,
it says Kang.
If you're fighting Buchecha, that's one of the few times where it's like, just punch behind you, man. Because what are you going to do? Strip the grip and escape? Like, that was actually a viable strategy because maybe you punch him and he lets go with a choke.
Yeah, or does something.
That's your only chance. So Buchecha gets his second MMA win. It's awesome, again, to see him making the transition effectively into MMA so far.
And he did the Superman version of the rear naked choke.
Yeah.
I was always referred to it as the Superman version. I don't know if it has another name or not.
That's
the way I like those better than like the full locked.
Yeah, the Superman version of the choke.
The Superman version.
And then what other news? I think
Cole Abate got his purple belt.
I think I had other Buchecha news. Oh yeah, he was fighting a undefeated heavyweight. It was like 5-0 with knockouts. So again, it was cool to see him not get knocked out.
Yeah,
that's always my worry with heavyweight.
He didn't land a punch on him, I don't think.
Which is good.
He may have hit him coming into the double, but it wasn't hard enough to really do anything.
It was cool.
He's a lot of a man, so it's going to take a lot.
He is. So moving on, Cole Abate got promoted to purple belt. To the dismay of many purple belts and to the celebration of many blue belts.
Yes.
And the Mendez brothers were basically like, he's a black belt. He's just not old enough. Like, literally verbatim was the quote, basically like, he will get brown at 18. He will get black at 19. He's just not old enough yet.
Yeah.
Like, he's a black, and obviously he wins trials in one of the most stacked divisions.
Yeah.
Like, look for, again, if you are not watching Cole Abate already, get on the hype train because it has left the station already. You can get on at this stop because it's again, we are moving into the next generation of young prodigy killers that are going to rise through the ranks.
He's not 18 yet, is he?
He's just turned 17, which is why I got purple.
So he's still a juvenile purple belt for IBJJF.
I think so. Yeah, I think he's 17. I could get that wrong.
Yeah,
but
he's 17 is when you can go to adult. Right?
Well, they moved. I talk about this every time.
Yeah.
They moved it around a couple years ago because the Rotolos were some of the first people that or maybe Michael Gabriel, the first people that I remember getting that like special like juvenile purple belt for IBJJF, where it's like you're not an adult, but you're still a juvenile, but like. And the Rotolo brothers have a really good interview where they talk about basically why that's relevant. Like, we're also fighting our own group of like young killers at this level. Yeah. The 17-year-old purple belt division is absolutely crazy. So it's cool to see Abate take that. I assume he's registered for Worlds. We're only going to preview the black belts for Worlds. I only pulled up the black belt brackets today. I
haven't seen him at all, so.
So I assume he is at Worlds. I assume the Mendez brothers are promoting him in time to go do Worlds, but he might have missed the check date or the cut date.
When is it technically? When is the?
I don't know.
When is the tournament?
It's like this week. Did he already do Worlds?
Check date's like Wednesday. Isn't
I don't.
Like the Wednesday before or something like that.
Nothing would surprise me. No idea. He's won trials. He's a black belt now. We're just waiting for time.
Plus, who knows? IBJJF and the Mendez brothers, they might just be able to slide it.
If there is one camp that can slide into the DMs like that and get it changed, it would be those guys. We have ADC. I have nothing else for Cole Abate. It's cool to see him continue to rise. ADCC trials, South American trials are coming up in 2 weeks, and then in 3 weeks, I think, or they're running them back to back essentially.
Yeah, they are.
So that
will
be 2
different areas.
Yeah, Florianopolis and in
Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo. Yep, that's where they're at. So those will be on Flow. We're going to cover those the best that we can. Not going to them right now because that's a big trip. And I
someday maybe.
Honestly, probably yes. Someday.
With security.
Probably yes as well. Let's see. Oh, also, I always forget to mention this. If you like the show, sharing it on social media is the best way to do that. You can follow the Grappling Rewind at Grappling Rewind on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. That is the biggest way to grow the show, is via word of mouth. So if you do like the show, please share it with the folks at your gym or other people you think who might share the show. Share it to your local blue belt, guys that newly got promoted. They may enjoy the show. That's, again, I always forget to plug the show, and we're going to try to do a better job.
I don't think you've ever plugged the show when I've been on.
There's a plug at the end of the show, and I always forget to plug it, so I'm plugging it now. If you like the show, please share it. It does help us huge, and that, again, we don't do any advertisement for the show, really, so that is how we grow the show.
We also need sponsors, food.
There's also that as well.
Food sponsor would be great.
What other news? I don't have...
And 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven.
So... other news, we have Fight to Win has ended its run with Flow. Fight to Win ran 200 events under the Flow banner. They are now basically essentially shopping free agency for their next contract. Their contract ended with Flow in December, so they just ran their 189 was their last show.
Their last show, yeah.
Not allegedly. Seth announced that it was their last show under their current contract with Flow Grappling. So they're currently shopping, and Seth put out a really cool Instagram image that was basically like, where should we go? It had like DAZN, it had Showtime, it had Fight TV, it had Fight Pass, it had
hope it's not
Flow.
Fight TV. I don't.
Maybe.
Fight TV, man.
It's hard for
I've never had good Fight TV events. Whenever I bought them, they've been...
Third Coast runs pretty well. I enjoy Third Coast on there.
Okay.
We've had a couple.
I agree
we've had a couple of them that we've covered that have been good.
I forget that
they've made a lot of changes.
I forget that
recently.
they're Fight TV.
Yeah, they've made a lot of changes. So,
I just keep on thinking about all the horrible boxing matches I've watched on Fight TV.
There's been a lot there. So, Fight to Win, and we will hopefully see them soon on wherever they end up and continue to be able to cover them. So, I think that's all I have for news. Do you have anything else you want to move into recap?
No, recap works.
All right, where do you want to start?
We'll start with Grapple Kings 6.
Let's start with Grapple Kings 6.
In Ireland.
It was in Ireland?
It was in Ireland.
We looked it up last time, and you were like, it's in Ireland.
It was in Ireland, and then you heard the accents, and I was like, yes, that's definitely Ireland.
So, main event, we had Ash Williams taking on Robert Deagle. Deagle did exactly what we thought from the jump, which is pull guard.
They said that he's now under Sarah BJJ. I thought he was a Henzo guy.
Well, Sarah and Henzo are like...
Are they?
Yeah, they're really, really close.
Bedroom?
Like, Nick Ronan is like a Sarah BJJ guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've always heard him explained to be Henzo. Because he got his black belt under Henzo.
Not Sarah. Who am I thinking of? Jason Rao.
Yeah.
Jason Rao's a Sarah BJJ guy, but trains a lot with Henzo guys.
Yeah,
like those guys are very, very linked. I mean, Sarah
I
is
just
a
heard
Henzo
that, and I
black
was like,
belt.
that's kind of random. Like,
yeah,
I've never
Sarah.
heard them
Sarah is
agree.
one of Henzo's first American black. I think his first American black belt.
Okay.
So like the gyms are very, very closely tied in New York in that area. So but Deagle came in, played his butterfly guard game, and Ash did a really good job throughout the match of like not letting Deagle get into really anything that he wanted.
Yeah. And then he picked up the pace, and as soon as he picked up the pace, Deagle didn't really know how to address that.
Deagle kind of tried to fence him out a little bit, and then Ash immediately got around the guard and then immediately started working towards the back and locks in from the point he gets to Deagle's back to the point that he gets the rear naked choke in is like a couple of seconds.
It's
he
quick.
Locks it across, and Deagle kind of knows that, like, he's kind of got it, and doesn't spend a ton of time continuing to fight
out of it
because he feels like he's in Ash's A game. He's there. Ash has it secure. He's just going to continue to wrench on his neck, and he's like, okay, like I got beat here positionally with my game. Again, super impressed with Ash Williams throughout this performance.
He's actually he won the European trials at 66.
We said that last week.
I know. Well, these are the things that it takes me a while to like completely understand.
To process and remember.
I don't know why. So I'm like, he won.
He's very, very good.
I'm like, oh yeah, he was the one who went against Paulo Miao. Yeah. That was in the gi. That's when people wear gis, they're different people.
Yeah. So again, Ash is on a tear recently. We had last two wins: win over Paulo, win over Deagle.
Yeah.
The decision win over Paulo was good, but it was in the gi, and that's a huge shift.
Yeah.
And again, a submission win over Deagle. Deagle did very well at ADCC North American Trials. Like, I am really curious to see how Ash looks leading up to ADCC. Like, everything points so far that he's just going to be a powerhouse in that 66 division.
I guess Europeans are before then. You could see how he does at Europeans.
I think Europeans are probably usually January, but with everything being weird, I don't know. And again, we're running Worlds this week in December as opposed to when it's usually run. Everything's still, the schedule's still really shifted around, but
weird.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see how he does at Worlds. There's another match as well. Do you have I missed the names here.
So the lightweight title female match was Rosa Walsh. She had just done Grapple Fest a few weeks
Yeah.
ago against Ashley Bendel. Ashley Bendel has been training since she was 4 years old.
That's the new crop. That's
Is-
what people are now.
And
at the high levels.
Rosa Walsh, like, got her knee popped in a way that literally made everyone stop
It was on
and
the
look around.
broadcast. It was loud.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah.
loud on broadcast.
Yeah, and Ashley Bendel won the decision.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a 50-50 leg locks.
For most of the
For
match, it
most
was
of
just
the
like
match,
very,
yeah.
very good defense and offense from both women.
Yeah.
But no one ever really got super deep on anything in the 50-50. It was a lot of leg
besides
fencing on the outside.
besides the leg,
aside from the pop.
The pop, yeah.
Yeah.
Which it kind of sucks that your body kind of breaks in a way that like you lose the match. You lose the match because your body just like falls apart.
Made a noise. So that was Grapple Kings 6. Again, it's cool to see them on Flow.
They also let me see. I was still watching. Okay. No, there was a twister in one match, and then there was one of the other matches.
We used to cover Grapple Kings on Facebook, so it's cool to see them on Flow finally.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's neat. What one next do you want to do?
Fight to win Denver.
Let's do Fight to Win Denver, Fight to Win Wednesday 9, the last card on the Flow Grappling deal.
Maybe.
That's on the current
never know.
deal. You never know. Again, I would love to see them all. I would love to see them continue to be on Flow Grappling. They've given us over the years the most consistent content on Flow Grappling. We've been covering...
I think Flow is the easiest to work with.
Yeah. We've been covering Fight to Win on Flow since Fight to Win 52.
Yeah.
That was the first event that we did with Grappling Rewind. 140 shows plus with Fight to Win that we have covered. Like, we love covering Fight to Win. I'm very used to it on Flow. I like where it runs on Flow. Would be very happy to continue to see them on Flow Grappling. I just hope that everyone can work it out, and it's a deal that works out for both parties. So let's talk about this match. PJ Barch defeats Michael Lera Jr. with like a outside or inside heel hook.
It's a heel hook.
Yeah.
This
was I was impressed. And this match went kind of how I thought it was going to go, where Michael Lera in guard, PJ Barch looking to pass. Barch's wrestling looked good.
When he came up a few times with Barch's leg, and Barch just like freaking turned his knee and like got out of it. I was like, holy shit, I couldn't.
Barch looked
like his balance was
confident
amazing.
too. Like Barch did a thing that when Michael Lera would come up with the single leg.
Yeah.
And Barch did the thing where he stands directly in front of
and
you.
You just turn your knee
and he just turns his hip and he hips out and he looks at you while he does it.
Yeah.
Like, good luck.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're gonna take a wrestler down? And it was crazy levels of confidence.
The balance, it's balance and confidence.
It's kind of the Barch that we were seeing back in 2019 in like the trials and like that era where it's like Barch knows how good he is. In trials, he knows how good he is.
He's been showing his performances lately have been great.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been going against top level guys and
winning
winning or at least holding his own.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, he held his own at the trials. Even though he lost, he still held his own.
He looked great doing it.
He looked good.
On the match, aside from the match that he lost, he looked amazing.
Even the match he lost, he didn't look bad.
No, he looked good in the match. This freaked me out a little bit because Michael Lera is playing X-Guard in a way that I play X-Guard.
Yeah.
And then PJ Barch high-stepped over the outside leg of the X-Guard and then dove for a heel hook on the far side leg. And I went... Oh, he got it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a position I play a lot of, and I have not had someone try to do that to me, maybe ever. That's a thing people are going to go for a lot now.
Yeah.
It was wild, because the way that Barch got out of the X-Guard was something that we just don't see very common. Like, he high-stepped...
You have to have you have to have flexible hips to be able to high-step like that
way
and keep your balance.
Like, that's the thing that
kind of
struck me.
Because normally thrown over,
It's usually when someone tries to high-step out of the X-Guard like that.
Yeah,
like
you
Barch
just fall.
turned his hips, and then instead of being able to be tracked by Lera and turned over and kind of fall to his ass to get out of that, he was able to bring his legs up and then back into the leg entanglement to get under Lera to get his outside leg in order to get onto a heel hook and then finish it as they're falling down.
It could have been something that he was practicing, that he saw that he does that on a regular basis, and this is,
It was just something that I have not seen in a... I don't remember the last time I've seen this move done, and especially versus someone as high level as Michael Lera Jr. Like, this is... The X-Guard is a pretty decent guard.
It was done very quickly, too.
Yeah.
It wasn't...
Barch finishes it, like, right after they hit the mat.
Yeah.
So he changes it, and then Lera's so far away because in the X guard, you're extended out.
Yeah.
Like you've extended them out and you've kind of extended yourself out.
Yeah.
And so if they attack that far side leg, you have to make up all that distance coming back into them. And Lera's just not able to do that.
And you're not thinking about that at the time.
No.
At the time, you're thinking of your legs as holding them away. You're not thinking of
or
protecting
holding
them.
or lifting or pushing.
But you're not protecting. You're not trying to protect your feet at the time.
At worst, they're going to push a hook down and kind of crush your guard down.
Yeah.
Or like maybe go for like a standing heel hook. But in most cases in the X guard, that's going to be really, really difficult to do. And as soon as they go back for it, their hips land on you. Yeah. So they can't really ever finish it unless they go like kind of like the Dean Lister style, like hand over hand and lift up. But even then, there's usually not enough torque.
There's enough room. You have enough room at that point to move yourself around.
Yeah. So it was a wild finish, and I think a very, very, great fitting finish to Fight to Win on Flow.
If I don't remember correctly, Lera was going after his own footlock.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, but
not hugely, but he was definitely like
but it is the
keeping Barch honest.
And it's also
feet.
the Fight to Win rule set.
Yeah.
So the more you try, the more you're rewarded. So
they're actively looking people to be going for submissions, be looking for the finish. I'm curious to see if they're going to have a rule change movie, if they change platforms as well. How much of a different organization we're going to see if they do change.
I hope they don't change that much.
I hope they don't too, because I have enjoyed. We have covered Fight to Win more than any other organization for a reason. We like how Fight to Win works. We like how they run. I need to look at some point when I went to my first Fight to Win, because I went to Fight to Win Maryland when it was out in Frederick. Yep.
And that was like a long.
That was 52.
That was 52.
That was the first.
And then I went
to
a Philly one too, but I don't remember if it was before or after. But I was at a couple of the really freaking early ones.
Yeah, the first couple years they ran them.
I remember hearing all the dirt when everybody was talking about them, and like, oh, this is gonna,
Yeah.
No one thought it would actually.
And then it worked for hundreds of events.
It worked amazingly.
I loved it. We have two cool matches on this card. We have Troy Everett, big friend of the show, making his black belt debut, getting it done versus Robert Allen via
Goodlow?
Yeah, Goodlow.
I thought you were going after his last name.
Robert Allen Goodlow via decision. Again, Troy fights out of the guard and then is able to get to the back and spends most of his time, sort of about half the match, working on the back and inevitably wins the decision and wins his black belt debut. So it's cool to see Troy. I think Troy has the top 3 Fight to Win appearances, or top 4 Fight to Win appearances now. He had the top appearances.
Yeah.
He had like 26 appearances or something like that.
I think they said he had the most wins.
Maybe that's what.
I think he has the most wins at this
Troy is a prolific. He used to be on Team No Sleep, so it's really cool to see him as a brown belt and then now as a black belt representing his own academy.
And also to see the Grappling Rewind patch.
The patch on his knee. I always appreciate that. Troy put that patch on him, and we love him for it. So really cool to see Troy Everett get a patch, get a win repping the Grappling Rewind patch and his own gym, Nova Mente. So that's great. Also on this card, former Fight to Win employee Brittney Elkin.
She still works for them.
Does she?
Yeah, she's been working the last couple events.
Oh, okay. I knew she was on and off.
She's on and off.
Okay, yeah.
But they fly her out to work a lot of the events here and there. I know her from the local scene.
Mm-hmm. She's in New York now.
No, she's at Bethlehem. She's at 10th Plant Bethlehem.
Oh, okay.
She's been training between there, but she works in downtown Philly.
Oh, really?
And so I've run into her in Philly, and I've run into her in Bethlehem, and then we went up to Marcello's once, and we all trained together. It was fun.
Nice. So she was on this card on a brown belt title fight versus Courtney King. She wins that in dominating fashion. Yeah. Really good top positional control from the side control and from the mount for the duration of the match. It was welterweight title, I think. I know Brittney has previously held the welterweight title. She may be middleweight now.
Yeah.
But I think it was welterweight.
Yeah.
I don't know why I think it was welterweight. Brittney's previously held that title for brown belt. She has then recaptured it now and then immediately was promoted to black belt on the stage because she's from Colorado.
Yeah.
This was a Colorado event.
It was a hometown crowd.
It was a hometown crowd.
They were very happy to have her around. Yeah. And everybody was very happy for her.
It was overall a really cool experience to see, some of the Fight to Win people be back on that stage, and then as black belts. Yeah. And a very, very fitting end to the current contract for Flow to end with a bang for Fight to Win. Also, Seth announced in his kind of shopping post that they paid out over $7 million to grapplers over the past 6 years.
Good.
Which is awesome. I don't know of an organization, a pro organization, that has paid out as much as Fight to Win has over the years. Again, they've run the most events, but still.
Yeah, and people bitch and complain about the numbers all the time. People have always, but there's a set
They run and you get paid.
Yeah,
and
you get paid for what you sell,
and you always get paid.
Then,
and you always get paid. And that's what I appreciate about Fight to Win is like if you have an opportunity to go make money as a grappler on a local scene, you can do that, and Fight to Win gives you the opportunity to show up and get paid and do it. And so, again, best of luck to Fight to Win. Cannot wait to see where they end up next. Always exciting.
Yep.
Moving on to Emerald City Invitational 3. This is a fun card. I enjoyed this card. Where do you want to start here? It was loaded. We previewed a bunch of people on this event, and we had, I think, an incorrect listing of who was on it.
Did we?
When we got it. Yeah, because we had like Thor on it. We had Dante Leone on it. We had a couple of people on it that ended up not being on it.
Did they move them at the last minute, or did we just have the wrong
I kind of just missed. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I missed what the transition was this week, but we ended up with honestly a pretty fun card. Lots of submissions. We're not going to go through the first round because we're already a little bit long into these segments, and I kind of just want to talk about the later rounds.
Okay.
Where do you want to start with this one? Do you want to start? Where do you start, Miranda?
Are we going to start third round?
Let's start third round then.
Okay.
Sean Diamarco defeats versus Alan Sanchez. Alan Sanchez wins via rear naked choke in overtime. Emerald City Invitational is an EBI style event.
That's second round. You're at the second round. Third round is when we're up.
What's up, Miranda?
Hey.
It's been a long week already. Actually, I'm talking about this next match though. We're still in the second round.
Okay, we'll start in the second round.
Oliver Taza defeats Jay Rodriguez via heel hook. Jay Rodriguez looked good in his first round match.
Yeah.
I think he won that via
heel hook.
Via his own heel hook
against Aaron Harris
versus Aaron Harris.
Another black hole jiu-jitsu black belt.
But Oliver Taza was having none of it. Quickly pulls, gets like a really.
Steve Jocham was in this too. See that unfortunately I was watching this as we were having our Christmas party. Yeah, and I was trying to watch.
You had it pulled up at Buffalo Wild Wings at the
Christmas party with my big beer, trying to watch it, and I had no idea what was going on. But anyway,
so we have Oliver Taza getting a quick heel hook win. Versus Jay Rodriguez. Again, Rodriguez looked good, but Oliver Taza, I'm not sure if he's trained with Jay Rodriguez, but it wouldn't surprise me.
I would think they would, because the B team guys were all Henzo.
But I don't know if Rodriguez was with them as much.
He was Studio 84, and Studio 84 and them kind of blended a little bit, didn't they?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, that's Nicky Rod's brother. Yeah.
Younger brother. And so he might not have been in the scene yet.
And I don't know.
He just
kind of moved down to Austin with his brother, and so I assume that he's trained with Taza, but again, Taza knows, like, if you're going to fight a really good wrestler like Jay Rodriguez, let's go to the legs, and that's what he does. Gets a quick heel hook. But it was cool to see in the first round that Jay got his own heel hook. In that next round, we had Josh Hayden versus Nick Ronan. We had Nick Ronan winning via ride time in OT. And we also had Giancarlo Bordoni defeating Enrico Galarza via rear naked choke in overtime. Moving into the third round, we had Oliver Taza versus Alan Sanchez. Oliver Taza wins this one via heel hook, and Miranda and I had to watch this a couple of times before, because it's a little bit difficult to see. But Oliver Taza gets on top. He had a really good top game for this match, and we were both kind of impressed throughout this entire tournament at Taza's dynamism. It was one of those times where Taza really showed up and showed us the whole showcase of his game.
In the finals, his wrestling, his stand-up was good.
We're gonna get to the finals in a second here.
I know, but I'm just saying. I'm trying to be positive. I'm being positive here.
And at a certain point in the match, Taza is able to get on top of Sanchez. Sanchez sort of goes to get try to take the back from a double knee bar position, and Oliver Taza is able to hip up, get his side, get in front of Alan Sanchez's knee, and then Sanchez quickly kind of taps because he knows that Taza is locked onto the heel and about to kind of extend on it, and knows he's not in a position where he can free his knee because the knee's on Taza's chest, and he needs to flare it that way to get out of the heel hook.
And he can't really roll out of it at that
point.
Well,
they're kind of on the edge of the mat. They're kind of, I think, partially off the mat for this finish, and it's all the way across the mat, so it's really hard to see where their hands were for Taza, but it was a heel hook on the outside leg.
Yeah, but looking at the shoulders,
you
could kind of figure out where the hands were.
And again, Taza looked dominant in that match. A big upset that surprised the shit out of me was we had Giancarlo Bordoni and Nick Ronan, and Nick Ronan wins this via heel hook.
Yeah.
We've seen Bordoni just running through folks, and then Nick Ronan, again, looking really good in this tournament. He has what do you call it? It's like a reverse kind of leg ride. like a double crab ride on the legs, but you have the inside of your shins on the underside of your opponent's shins as you're coming up like to get the back like a berimbolo.
Yeah,
almost.
It was almost like a no-gi berimbolo. But it was a crab ride. A crab ride's the easiest way to explain it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's another way you can really say that. It's like a berimbolo from a crab ride.
Yeah, but he's low on it.
Yeah.
And he's like, so if he were to turn up into it, he would have his head like behind like the glutes of Bordoni instead of having his head like on the chest because he's so low with where his legs are. But he almost like techs up into this.
Yeah.
And then
And grabs the leg.
He goes for like a knee bar off of this reverse crab ride position and then switches it off to a heel hook.
Yeah.
And then Bordoni's leg is free initially.
Yeah.
And then Nick Ronan slides his leg over top,
And
recapturing the knee line
secures
to finish it.
Yeah.
And gets a really quick tap from Bordoni. And I was shocked.
I was shocked too.
I was like,
I didn't expect
wow,
that.
he got him. Because when I first watched it, I didn't think he had the knee controlled. And that's why I was so confused initially.
I think he did, and towards the end he does.
Yeah, well,
he
moves his leg over top of the knee as he locks his hands and pushes. So he basically hip heists up Bordoni's leg to get it. And I had missed that the first time I watched it, so I had to go back and rewatch it to figure out like exactly how he got the finish here. But it's not another pretty unique heel hook finish. We saw a couple of those this weekend. It's neat to see the leg lock game sort of developing in different ways where the knee control is becoming less important. Like it's important, but we're not seeing as many of those like straight up locked heel hooks that people need to finish.
They're more dynamic positioning.
A lot of transitional submissions too. Like people...
Well, because people know how to get out of them now.
Yeah.
So you have to catch them in the transition rather than getting them, getting the position, locking your position, taking care. You just don't have the time.
I think the change is really interesting though because even recently we've seen a lot of people really need to lock down heel hook positions to finish. We saw it a ton at trials. We started to see some of this transition happening at trials where people were getting caught as they were going for things. They would be getting heel hooked. Again, that kind of speaks to the level and the kind of differential in level that happens at trials sometimes.
Yeah,
but we're seeing high-level people like Bordoni get hit in these transitions. It's very interesting. And I think that is sort of the new shifting of the leg lock meta is, it's not going to be locked in 50-50 anymore. Everyone sort of knows. We saw, again, in the Grapple Kings match. Yeah. Everyone knows how to defend that now. Yeah, you'll catch people now and again. But overall...
almost the main events, a lot of the main events in these cards this weekend were all transitional heel hooks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the main event here, we had Nick Ronan versus Oliver Taza. It goes to overtime. Taza looked good in this match.
Taza picking the armbar. Initially, I thought, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Well, let's talk about the match first.
Okay.
Then let's talk about the overtime, because I had the same thought about, like, Taza, why would you do that?
I was always told you do not pick the armbar. If you get any position, you do not pick the
There are a
armbar.
couple of scenarios. Let's talk about the match first.
Okay.
Then I'm very, very excited to talk about the finish here for the overtime, which is a rarity for me. So, Taza looked good. His wrestling looked good.
His wrestling looked good.
Passing,
he got some takedowns that were spot on.
Yeah.
Ronan just sat.
Well, Ronan didn't look like he wanted to play the takedown game with Taza, and that was something I thought was really interesting, because Taza is a guy that usually in probably like 70% of his matches will almost always elect to pull. Yeah. Especially in this, like an EBI format, when there's no points, there's no penalty for pulling, you can kind of play your A game. Yeah. Taza wants to get underneath you. He wants to elevate.
Wrestling. I mean, and he did a bunch of. He did an ankle pick. He did a single.
He did good wrestling that worked throughout this event.
But I think
versus Ronan.
Ronan was also not really defending.
Yeah, Ronan wanted to sit. Ronan kind of wanted to do what Taza did.
Conceding,
but I think he wanted to catch Taza in transition in the wrestling as they went down. So he was, again, willing to sort of let Taza show off his wrestling as a tactical thing.
And there's no problem. I mean, there's no real error in doing that, because it's not like he's getting any points against him for.
And you're the guys working to take you down. Really. It was just an interesting dynamic, and it was cool to see. Again, Nick Ronan obviously wasn't putting everything into the wrestling defense, but it was cool to see the dynamism of Taza's game, because he's a guy that usually we'll see just play from the bottom.
It was very flowy, too, at the beginning, which I was surprised about, because you would think finals match, you're going to, like,
tense up a little bit, be a little slower.
Be a little, a little more aggressive, but it was very flowy when I first started.
There was 2 points in this match that I was really impressed with Taza's passing, and the commentary did a really great job of actually talking about what Taza was doing with his shoulders and his legs.
Where he would just face dive.
He would just face dive, but he would dance around like
He'd do a bullfighter.
He'd do a modified like Toriando bullfighter pass around Nick Ronan with his head and shoulders.
But he would
really
go all but he would go all the way up to almost north south.
Yeah, he'd go to north south,
and then he'd just shove his head in. Which, I mean, I do that.
It's a really great way to pass.
My face messed up as many times as I have.
Well, especially with a guy like Ronan, who's so happy to invert and so willing to invert on you.
And that way, you keep as long as your shoulders below their knees, you're good.
Yeah.
Well, you're not good, but you're.
Well, and we saw a couple times that Ronan would fight the leg back in, and Taza would really have to commit to the north-south, and then you get to the side control from there. But 2 separate times we saw the sequence work, and Ronan unable to immediately recapture the guard. Eventually, it does go to decision. I think the first one that Taza picks back first, right?
No, Taza goes armbar the whole time.
Oh, I
Nick,
thought he did.
Okay, so Nick was first. He went to back, and then Taza went to armbar.
Yeah.
So we'll go into this. I've always been told not to pick the armbar because that was the stupidest one to pick because they're going to get out quickly. But Taza did it really well because what he did was he was using his feet to cross over either the forearm or the head.
He did what you're supposed to do in the armbar position, which is if you have an armbar and you're starting in it, you're not supposed to have, and I think they usually don't let you start like this, which is why it happened.
No, they don't, because you normally have to have one hand on their legs, right? And is it legs or one on the floor?
One on the floor.
One on the floor and one on them. And that's all you're allowed to have.
With the feet, Taza was doing is he had his legs hooked behind the opposite arm of Nick Ronan, which is what you should be doing if you're ever in an armbar, because if you do it with arm in...
If your legs are long enough. My legs are not.
Your legs are long enough to
do
that.
I cannot. I cannot make
If you cross over top, they can clear you with one hand. If you cross under the shoulder, you can't move your shoulder enough to actually get beneath their legs.
And you have to let go of your arm and to use one of your arms to get the legs off.
Yes.
And if they keep you down, you can't roll up to be able to assist yourself with it. So you're screwed because you either have to let go of your arm. You have to do that stupid, when you try to get out of an arm bar and the
hitchhiker?
I do, and I have probably screwed up my shoulders in doing this. The whole just throw it and go. Yeah. Where you just you're just going to throw your arm and you're just going to roll. And you're just going to hope.
It's a hitchhiker escape. You throw your thumb up and then you turn it in line with how your body's rotating to keep the pressure there.
I do it as fat. I throw it.
Yeah.
And just go.
Yeah.
And just hope the hell no one's going to grab your hand and forget armbar.
And finish the armbar.
Yeah. But
Taza does a great job here. Immediately when they start, he has the legs hooked under Nick Ronan's arm, so Nick Ronan's basically flattened on the mat temporarily. It also lets him then scoop and grab the leg.
And elevates your shoulder.
Yeah, it does a bunch of stuff, but then we see Taza make the transition from the arm to a Kimura grip.
Yeah.
And I went, while he pummels his legs out and goes under the opposite arm of Ronan, and I went...
You're talking about...
I'm talking about the second. I'm talking about the one I care about, not the first. The first one was it gets out.
Yeah.
What happens in EBI overtime? They don't get out or they get out. It's either time or not.
Yeah.
The one that was fun was this one. And we see him, I was like, he's locking up a triangle here from this, which in EBI style overtime.
Yeah, as long as you continue with a sub.
With a sub.
Doesn't matter what
he has the arm still.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the leg position's in. Taza's hooked onto the Kimura grip on the arm.
Yeah.
Pummels his legs under, locks it, and then commentary goes and figures out what's happening. Went, he's locking up the triangle, and he still has the arm. And then you see Taza push his knees together and pinch down and turn.
I have to say, Taza did a very good job with overtime.
Did an amazing job.
That's a good game of overtime.
It was good. But
I watched it and I was like,
Usually you see what we see.
You see what you see when everybody takes everybody's back, and that's what they do.
And they hold for the whole time.
Yep.
And then it's like somebody wins on a couple seconds of ride time, and that's the match.
Pretty much.
Props to Taza, taking a risk on the arm and getting it. Again, there are a bunch of schools of thought for you take the back or the arm. Typically, the person that really needs the sub that probably is not going to escape fastest will take the arm.
What's the third position?
They do triangle sometimes. They do there's a bunch of different positions that they use. It's been pared down now where pretty much only everyone uses the armbar and the triangle or the armbar and the back control.
Okay.
But because most people choose the back control. There used to be another one. But now that's all it is.
Yeah. I try not to get there. Screw overtime.
No, I don't like overtime. So that was that. It was a lot of fun. I was very impressed with Taza. It was cool to see him kind of open up and show different aspects of his game.
Yeah.
it was fun. And props to Nick Ronan. He looked good throughout the event as well. Again, a great showing from everyone on the card. It was a very fun event. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
What do you want to move on? Oh, we have
super fights.
Two super fights. Oh yeah, two super fights I want to talk about. Let's talk about Giants. We'll talk about Giant Slayer and Amanda Levy.
Yeah. Let's go Estevan first.
Estevan Martinez fought our buddy Eric Naples. Actually, I've done commentary with Eric a couple times now, so it was really cool to see him get like a big matchup like this.
Yeah.
Both guys are like 25ers.
Yeah.
And both guys struggle historically to get matches with guys that are at their same weight class.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it was cool because these guys both ran at a pace that was like, cool, we're both smaller guys.
Yeah.
We're gonna go the whole time. We saw Estevan. We got to see Estevan play a game versus a guy of comparable size that could also move at that pace. And we saw him, and you caught up a little bit.
And
He would lean in with his wrestling with his head.
Yeah.
And I think he does that because he's used to fighting guys that are so much smaller.
Yeah, he's
larger. So much larger.
That he doesn't have to worry about guys grabbing a guillotine or something like that because they don't think about that. They're just trying to shake him off their legs.
Yeah.
He's a little guy coming after their leg.
And Naples has size parity here, and you see Naples a couple times lock up a guillotine and start to work off of that. And you start to see Martinez fight out of it and fight through some adversity with like a different style of wrestling than we've seen him kind of need to implement recently. Yeah. Because we have not seen Martinez versus a guy his size.
Martinez go and single and just do like almost like a sweep single to get him down. And then his double underpassing is what he was using. Naples did a great job trying to do triangles. Trying to triangle an armbar off.
He was throwing up stuff consistently from all of the stuff.
He jumped some triangles. I was like, whoa, that's the good one right there, But
very, very fun. It was a very fun match. It's cool to see, again, one of my buddies, one of the guys that I've worked with Eric on shows before doing commentary, so it's cool to see him get a good match
and even
show up and look good. And Martinez, it's cool to see, again, more of Estevan Martinez. He's a guy that's really been on our radar recently, having been on Third Coast, having been on Who's Number One,
He was on the Emerald City.
Yeah.
He was on the
last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's cool to get to see him, getting another showcase match.
Yeah.
This one goes to overtime, and Estevan's able to get a rear naked choke in overtime.
22 seconds.
He just punched it over, and very, very good finish there. So Estevan Martinez takes that one.
And then when Estevan like almost flipped Eric off of his back.
Yeah.
Getting out of back positioning, which I was like, okay then.
Yeah, Esteban's got really, really good back control defense. So it was
strong.
It was fun to see. It was a very, very fun match that I enjoyed. Next match we had Amanda Levy taking on Lauren Jones. Levy looked good. We said Lauren Jones just recently got, was it third at ADCC East Coast Trials.
Yeah.
Again, super high level. Amanda Levy, a former Trials champion.
Yeah, West Coast champion.
She didn't do Trials this time, right?
No, she didn't do it this time.
Didn't think so. So I assume that she will do West Coast again with her most recent win over Gabriel Garcia.
Yeah.
Potentially might see her on a short list for an invite, although with the women's divisions, because they're only 8, you never know.
Small.
It's a little smaller at the plus 60 division. But man, Levy looked dominant. Bell to bell in this match. And even into the overtime. This went all 3 overtimes, and Levy takes this on
back control
and ride time, which is again what we talked about earlier. You usually should take back control because you will accrue the most ride time. Yeah. Typically,
even though I'm horrible holding somebody's back.
Yeah, I'm not my favorite.
It's not my favorite.
It's not my favorite.
It should be
either.
my favorite, but it's not. Not at all.
Levy looked really, really good. It's great to see her. She's recently had some MMA fights, so it's cool to see her back into grappling and looking really good versus woman, as credentialed as Lauren Jones, who looked great in the women's plus 60. Not a ton kind of technically to talk about the match other than just like Levy's positional game looked unstoppable, bell to bell. She wasn't able to get the choke in overtime, which I would have loved to see, but she looked very good.
Yes.
So happened this week, we had UAE-JJF AJP King of Mats. King of Mats is a really fun event. I would love to have been able to cover them in more detail, but we sort of just ran out of time with what we were able to do this week. It is up on YouTube. It is free. The whole event is about 3.5 hours long.
You said that they translated.
So they didn't translate, but the commentary is in Portuguese.
Yeah.
And if you go to Google and you watch on like a desktop app, you can click auto translate. So you can put captions on, click auto translate, and then translate it to English or whatever language. And I was watching it with the English captions for the majority of it, but I was able to get through about an hour and a half of it so far. And the captions were pretty good. Like you could follow what most of the commentary was saying.
You could figure out what was being
it even translated like Barambolo pretty well. I could like read it and understand for the most part what I was watching. And again, we've not covered a ton of events on YouTube, but YouTube's algorithm for captioning is much better than it used to be. And this is the first event I've watched in a while.
I always think it's funny if you ever watch your friends on Facebook, their videos, and they auto caption, and sometimes they pick up like everybody talking in the area.
Yeah, in the background.
And there's some weird ass conversations that you like pick up on those things.
Yeah. So it was good. I was very happy. This one, the podium. This was UAE-JJF King of Mats and Queen of Mats in Brazil. They ran both of them. Podium, we had Roosevelt Souza taking first, Wally Costa taking second, and Gabriel Oliveira taking third. For the Queen of Mats, this was the lightweight. The men's was the heavyweight. We had Natalie Ribeiro from the U.S. taking first. We had Bia Mesquita from Brazil taking second, and Bianca Basilia taking third.
I saw a Bianca Basilia seminar in Jersey in like 3 weeks.
That would be fun to go to.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Emily Walkstrom.
Ribeiro, I watched one of her, I forget which match it was. Ribeiro's match. Ribeiro looked really good in the matches that I did see. Again, I want to go back and watch this. If you haven't seen it, it's free on YouTube. You should go back and watch it. Great divisions. Again, I'm unhappy that we don't get a chance to cover it this week because I just haven't finished it and don't have good notes on it. But that's what we got.
I ran out of time.
Yep.
I went on some weird travels.
Also, we have Worlds to cover this week. So
we do.
That does it for the recap section. Let's move into the preview section, Miranda.
And we have brackets.
We got brackets this week, and I'm excited. Miranda has not seen the brackets because I pulled them up as she was getting here for the show. Let's start with the adult. So for the shows, we are going to make horrible picks for the IBJJF 2021 Worlds. Honestly, I say horrible picks. Our picks are usually not that bad.
Mine are pretty bad.
Yours are not great sometimes.
Yeah,
but
mine are not great. But I love me some underdogs.
I also remember like the good picks I make, and I kind of forget the bad picks I make. We have brackets.
We're like right before Road to ADCC. Like I talked up Amanda Levy, and look what she did.
Yeah.
So I was amazed. Every once in a while, I do get something.
We are going to preview the adult black belt divisions for the men and for the women. We have brackets. We're going to read through some of the brackets. Usually we do not have brackets when we record this show prior to the event, but because of where it falls in the timeline, we get them this week. We get to talk about them. Men's ultra heavyweight division, we got Cyborg, we have Nicholas Margali, we have Victor Hugo, we have Wallace Costa.
If Cyborg wins his first match, he gets to go against Margali in his second match. Fuck
the rematch again.
Sorry, I shouldn't be cussing all the time, but that's
fine. They fought it. The last time I think they fought was at the inaugural Third Coast Grappling.
That needs to happen.
And Margali choked him in the gi. I think pretty in a. I
think Margali
half the match.
Margali's got that.
We haven't seen Margali in a litit bit, so it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. But Margali's a tough dude to beat. So potentially, if Margali gets past Cyborg.
Did they swap that? They did.
They did. They swapped these two guys.
Yeah.
We're going to see Margali versus Victor Hugo on that side of the bracket. On the other side of the bracket, we have Igor Schneider and we have Max Jimenez.
Ooh.
Are the two guys that I have going through. I think that Max Jimenez will probably take his side of the bracket. We also have Panza here as well. Luis Panza.
Yeah.
But again, I kind of want to give the edge to Jimenez just because he's a local guy. We see him more frequently. So potentially we can see
Jimenez versus Margali.
Or Hugo versus Margali. I'm really curious to see how that goes. Again, we haven't seen Margali in a little bit. I do hate betting against Margali, but I'm on the Margali train. Hugo.
Like we're gonna push Margali forward to like.
He is ranked number 1, Dream Art. I kind of want to lean Margali just because you're kind of dumb to not pick Margali, but I think Hugo,
you could have
Max Jimenez.
You can have an upset in there.
Yeah, you could have Cyborg take this. Like it's very possible. Again, any of these guys in this division, these are all the top heavyweights in the world.
Yeah.
Very open division for a lot of guys to take, but picking against Margali is not usually a great idea. You going Margali too?
I'm going Margali.
All right, that's the black belt ultra heavyweight division. Moving on to the super heavyweight division, much more entrants here. We have Jackson Carvalho, we have Felipe Trovo, we have Devontae Bones Johnson on the one side of the bracket. I kind of want to lean Bones on that side of the bracket.
Yeah.
We have Let's
is it
see.
two
And
sets
we
of
have
brackets?
Felipe Andrew, I think, takes the other side of that
Yeah.
bracket. So potentially going to get a Bones versus Felipe Andrew rematch.
That would be fun.
I forget who took the first one. And then on the other I hate how IBJJF does bracketing. It makes it so difficult. We have Eric Muniz on one side of the bracket and Gerard Lubinsky. We're probably going to see that match. I'm also
You also have
I'm skipping through a bunch of names here because brackets are hard.
The GFT guy at the bottom.
Which one?
The top one.
Felipe Pena?
No, up in blue.
Guillermo
Him.
Cordovosa?
I've seen him before. I don't know where I've seen him before, but I feel like he's gonna win something.
I kind of want to.
I don't know why,
We
but
also
I
have
feel
Pena.
like
Pena's back.
I know, but there's Pena.
There's Felipe Pena.
I love Felipe Pena.
I think Felipe Pena. We also have Ronaldo Maidana in this bracket. I think Felipe Pena
do I
takes
know that
bracket
guy?
B. I think we're going to see a finals between Felipe Pena and Eric Muniz, and then in the finals we'll probably see Felipe Andrew versus Felipe Pena, and I think
Holy
Felipe
shit,
Pena
how
will
many
take
brackets
that.
is this shit?
This is 2 brackets.
Oh, it's 2? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And they go together. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes,
was like,
so the winner of this fights the winner of this.
No, I thought you had kept on going, and I was like, there's 3
No.
brackets?
So I guess I
Okay.
think we're gonna get Pena takes this one again.
Okay.
You're dumb to bet against Pena in the Worlds. Again, anyone can take it, but Felipe Pena has historically shown that he is almost unstoppable on the world stage. It's possible.
Okay.
Moving on to the men's heavyweight division, we have Dominic Bell here. We have Ryder Zertri. We have who else? As I read through these, we have Adam Wardzinski from Checkmat. Let's see who else. I kind of want to lean Wardzinski on that side of the bracket.
Yeah.
For bracket
For
1.
his side, yeah.
And then we have Patrick Gaudio. We have Gabriel Henrique on bracket 2 on the same side. Gaudio just got beat at King of Mats, but he did look good. We also have Kainan Duarte on the other side.
Yes.
And Helton Jose Silva as well.
I say Ken.
I think Kainan probably beats Gaudio in this bracket, and we probably have a final between
Kainan and let's do Wardzinski.
Maybe, yeah. I think Kainan probably takes that again.
Yeah, and I think he takes it over Wardzinski.
Mm-hmm. I think this is the first one that Kainan's had since he was suspended for 2020 season, and now he's back. Was it 2020 or was it 2019?
I don't think 2020 really existed.
Well,
so,
it did happen, but it was weird.
Yeah, but I think he
late.
was out for 2020.
Okay. So this is the first one that's back since Kainan Duarte's suspension. He won the last one he was in and then got a doping suspension. He won that one, but the IBJJF was like, you can't do steroids, so he didn't get it allegedly.
Even though he said he didn't have the steroids.
You win. Like, it's jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I don't really care. You won. I know you won.
All the top-level ski guys are doing
all guys are in all sports. So it's, so Kainan's back. I love to see him back. I'm not going to pick against him for the heavyweight division. Moving on to the medium heavyweight division. Let's see here. We have Marilla Santana on the upper right-hand corner. We have, let's see.
You have Lucas Barbosa.
Yeah, we have Manuel Hibamar as well.
Love me some Lucas Barbosa.
Yep. Hulk.
He just opened up a school in Portland.
Did he really?
Or Eugene, not Portland.
Eugene, Oregon?
Eugene, Oregon.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, there's nothing up there. I was there.
That would be cool. So, again, for this bracket, I think Murillo, Manuel on that side are a good matchup. I think Manuel takes it over Murillo. Oh, then that could be a really fun match. But probably Hulk
Barbosa.
Takes this bracket.
Yeah.
On this side for bracket 2, we have, let's see. I wish they would list us the full names.
Wellington Luis, and I can't even pronounce that last name.
Sebastiano.
Let's
see. We have Gustavo Batista in this bracket. We have
Leandro
Lowe. Yep.
And I was watching they were doing Unity Road to Worlds.
Yeah, and Leandro's there.
Leandro
He's
looks
dancing
good.
around.
He always looks good, but
I think we probably have a Gustavo Batista versus Leandro Lowe for this bracket. I kind of give the edge to Lowe because Lowe at Worlds is a different animal.
And Lowe and Barbosa.
They've met before, I think. Did Lowe beat him?
Lowe beat him. Yeah.
Which is crazy because I thought they met at BJJ Stars, I think, or BJJ Bet recently, and I remember it being a kind of a strange match. But I kind of want to give the edge.
Yeah. Well, Lowe always looks like he's exhausted as hell.
And then
but
wins.
He wins.
And that's the thing is, like, I wanna pick Hulk, like,
Yeah.
clearly, but, like, Lowe is so
my heart
crafty.
says Hulk.
That would
But my brain says Lowe.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I could see Hulk taking it. I can see Lowe taking it, but those are definitely two of the front runners for the division. Again, ranked 1 and 3 in the division.
Who's 2?
Who is 2? Gustavo Batista's 2.
Batista. Okay.
Yeah, which again is a very reasonable number 2 slot there.
Dude, if Batista makes it through and it's him and Lucas, are they gonna freaking do a stupid ass? Do they
A closeout?
Yeah,
at
they're gonna
Worlds.
close out. But they're Atos. I think they have to. I think Atos has a
Well, Atos has been fighting a little more recently.
Have
like,
they?
Yeah, they've been.
Because I thought they had a rule that they had to.
They do, but the guys have been the top level guys have kind of been.
Ooh,
we see a fight
Matthias,
occasionally.
Matthias is in that bracket too.
Oh, Deniz is in there. I missed that. He's ranked 9th.
I just saw him.
Yeah, because he doesn't have a pony match in.
So
we're gonna see.
Oh, so he has to go against. So it could be him and Leandro Lowe.
That would be a really fun match. That actually
fun.
is a kind of a. That's a fun match.
Sort of not fun because so Leandro Lowe gets all the way in. Like he gets in first. I mean, he's literally.
He fights the winner of Nathan Mendelsohn and Diego Nogueira.
Yeah.
I'm going to give the edge there to Mendelsohn because I'm more familiar with his game. So we probably see Leandro Lowe versus Nathan Mendelsohn there.
Leandro Lowe's going to win there. Probably.
Yeah.
And then
Matthias Deniz
has to go through the Atos, the first Atos guy.
Has to go through
Juan
Kleber de Souza.
Yeah.
And then fights the winner of that. He fights Otavio Ferreira de Souza from Gracie Barra.
Yeah.
So
that's a rough go for Deniz.
I honestly think that we probably do see Leandro Lowe versus Matthias Deniz. I do give the edge to Leandro, but Deniz is.
But we could get a rematch of Deniz versus Lucas Barbosa.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that would be fun. The match that I forget who won because someone went to sleep but still won.
Deniz put Hulk
to
out,
sleep, but still.
But Hulk still won.
Yeah.
Because he went out after the bell.
Allegedly. And we argued about this vehemently on the podcast and had a good time. So that does it for medium heavyweight. Anyone's ballgame for that one. Onto the middleweight division, we have Majid Hayden from Gracie Barra.
Jackson Nagai.
Yeah, Jackson Nagai. Jackson Nagai has been looking better and better, especially on Fight to Win. Like his most recent match, we saw him versus Edwin Najmi. He looked amazing. I think he triangle Najmi.
I don't remember what
I think he triangled Najmi in the gi.
I remember him winning. But
we have Rena Mutliab as well in this. We have Izaki Bahents, ranked number 1 in this division. Also have Jonathan Gracie in this on the other side of the bracket. Wow. So potentially going to see...
And Servia Tulu.
Yeah. So potentially going to see a...
Magrid Haji.
Majid Hage, yes. he was at the rules seminar for ADCC trials.
He completely surprised me with his abilities.
He's very good. He's been good for a very long time.
He walks around like a
surfer guy.
Like a surfer guy. He has like his shorts. He saw his pockets in his shorts.
Yep.
He has a t-shirt on. He's just,
having a good time.
I like him. If I could see him make it through, that'd be awesome. But I've never seen him in the gi before, so I have no idea.
He's a very, very astute gi competitor. He's done gi for a very long time.
I just found him.
Very well known for
recently.
The baseball choke. You should go back and watch his old footage because he has some really cool highlights from back in the day.
Do you know what I realized? That we kept on making comments when sitting at ADCC. Mm-hmm. Me and your wife kept on making comments about this guy because he had like amazing hair and it was like too good. Mm-hmm. And it was the guy who runs Globe
BJ Globetrotters?
Yeah. That was who we were staring at.
This is a really weird non sequitur in the middle of Worlds previews, Miranda.
Well, because Magrid also Majid also. Well, I'm saying it like freaking
Majid Haig.
I'm saying it like Harry Potter. Okay. I'm taking a Harry Potter way of saying it. He has some amazing hair. Also, I'm sorry.
He does. So Izaki Bahents, we're most likely going to see take on Jackson Nagai on that side of the bracket.
Yeah.
I think Bahents takes that, but Nagai has been looking better and better. It wouldn't surprise me to see an upset.
I'm going to go with Nagai.
Okay. And then we're going to see the winner of that take on most likely Jonathan Gracie on that side, or Leandro Lara, who's also ranked 4 in that on that side.
Jonathan Gracie, and then I'll go Nagai over Gracie.
And then in the other side of the bracket, we have Jamie Canuto. We have Felipe Silva in here. We have Andre Nascimento. We have the Alliance RDA. We have Tommy Langacker, who's recently coming after that loss to Igor Tanabe, the Fat Ninja on Polaris. So I'm curious to see. He is ranked number 2 in this division.
We have Jefferson
Gusari. We also have Rolando Jr. in here as well, ranked number 5th. We haven't seen him in a minute here, but and then we have the dark horse, the new guy in the division, Tynan Daupra.
Yeah.
AOJ prodigy coming in. I'm going to give that side. It'll be interesting to see Tynan versus Rolando Jr. I do think he gets by him just because Tynan has looked so good.
Do you think Tynan gets past Jefferson Gorsi?
Yeah, I think he gets beside Gusardi.
Okay.
I just think I'm not going to pick against Tynan until somebody shows me that there are cracks in the armor.
Okay.
Honestly, that's just because everything he has shown me that, like, yep, don't pick against him until he gives you a reason to pick against him, and he hasn't yet. So I think he takes this entire bracket.
I just naturally go against AOJ. I don't really know why. It's just one of those things.
You're an underdog picker now. Yeah, that's why. And the AOJ consistently wins everything. So you always pick the underdog.
I do.
So I think that we're probably going to see an Izaki Bahens versus Tynan Daupra. I think that'll be a very interesting match. I will give that to Daupra. You think Nagai's going to get through, so we're probably going to get Nagai versus
I think Nagai.
Daupra.
Yeah.
If we see it, again, I'm going to pick Tynan.
I'm going to go Daupra over.
For him to take his first black belt title, a world title. It would be cool. It's always cool to see someone get their first title as a new black belt. Next one, we have the men's lightweight division. We have Matthias Gabriel, former world champion, ranked number 1, checkmat. He gets a bye into the next round where he's going to take on Wellington Diaz.
And we have Michael Lera.
And Wellington Diaz, Mackenzie Dern's father, is going to take on Kevin Javier Majeca. That's a tough match. Kevin Majeca is very good. I actually wouldn't surprise me to see Majeca take that. And we have Matthias Gabriel versus Kevin Majeca. We have Johnny Tama in the lower section of this bracket. We have Michael Lera Jr. We're probably going to see a match between Johnny Tama and Michael Lera Jr.
He has so many names that I always forget that that's Johnny Tama. And then I'm like, oh, that's Johnny Tama.
Yeah, Johnny Jacquin T. I can't say his last name. And then the T is the Tama in the middle that is abbreviated. We have Marcelo Andre on the other side of the bracket, and Hugo Marquez, or Hugo Dop, or Doperes Marquez on that side of the bracket. We have, let's see, who am I missing here? Yeah, and we have Lucas Valente, former silver medalist. So potentially going to see a rematch between Matthias Gabriel and Lucas Valente, which is a match I've wanted to see for a while then, but Matthias Gabriel has to get through Michael Lera Jr., and Lucas Valente has to get through Marcelo Andre. So that'll be a really crazy quarterfinals match. Again, anyone can take that. I'm going to lean Matthias Gabriel because he's the number one ranked fighter in the division, and he looked really, really good his last outing at BJJ Stars. So I'm gonna go him there for bracket A. We have Andy Murasaki from Atos on the other bracket versus Jonathan Alves potentially in the second round there if Murasaki can get through his first round match. Let's see.
Dude, I didn't realize I do pull for all the Unity guys. Like all Unity, I'm like, see that.
Yeah, you're an underdog picker.
Man. But Unity isn't like
They're not underdogs,
school.
but
I think it's just because they're also sort of local.
They're kind of local. You've
enough.
Trained there and you've seen them. And
I've never actually trained there.
Really?
I've heard many, many horrible stories, but I've never went
at the old gym.
I've heard the stories about pro practice.
Yeah,
and how nasty it is.
It's rough. We're gonna see potentially AJ Agarzarm is finally in his own division, finally at lightweight, not at like ultra heavy or super heavyweight. So I'm actually happy to see that. AJ gets a lot of shit. He's very good. We just saw him recently versus Daniel on Polaris.
Yeah.
Didn't look great, but again, it's been a while since we've seen AJ in the gi.
He also looked like he was walking around in his bedclothes.
A little bit.
Yeah.
He's fighting Leon Taffa the first round. Very interesting. Next round, they have Levi Jones-Leary, though.
Yeah, and then they have Hanato Canudo.
Yeah, and then Canudo's on the other side of the bracket. Well, also, Canudo actually has to get through Espen Mathisen, though, which is first round. I think he can possibly get through Espen.
Oh, yeah, he has to get
Espen, but on that side of the bracket, I would be surprised to see...
I like Canudo.
Levi Jones-Leary versus Rafael Canudo would be really interesting.
It would be a fun match. Yeah. Because Canudo's definitely has more of a top game. Leary's going to...
immediately play to the bottom,
but it'll be interesting to see what they try.
Yeah,
because both of them, I mean, both of them have a lot of explosion when they want to, you know?
We see Levi Jones-Leary typically play a more tentative game. He's really looking for that Baron Bowl to the back, and I'm not sure if he can get that on Canuto, because Canuto is so dynamic. He's willing to bounce out of anything. Just holding him down, I think, could potentially be a problem for Levi Jones-Leary. I think the dynamic of the match is really interesting. That's what I think we're going to see. Potentially going to see Agazarm versus Levi Jones-Leary. Curious to see how that goes.
I mean, in the event that AJ gets through, I would love to see Canuto beat that breaks off AJ.
That would be a fun. It would be an entertaining match. And I can say that
because everybody is
because AJ plays that role.
Yeah, he
AJ plays that role. Next match potentially in this bracket, we're gonna have Jonathan Alves face the winner of Levi Jones-Leary and Renato Canuto.
Yeah.
So potentially going to see Levi Jones-Leary versus Jonathan Alves.
Yeah.
Curious to see if
I'm saying Canuto.
Okay.
I'm going Canuto.
You're going Canuto on that one.
I'm going Canuto.
I'm gonna go Alves just because Alves has such a good game for the IBJJF.
I'm saying Alves out of either AJ or Levi.
Okay, Canuto.
Okay. And then it's going to be Canuto versus Alves. I think Alves will probably beat Canuto, though my heart says that Canuto goes through.
I would love to see Canuto go through. I love Canuto's game. He's very fun.
Yes.
So I would love to see him get a victory, but I just think that Jonathan Alves is so hard to beat.
I think it is.
So potentially we're going to see Matthias Gabriel from bracket A versus Jonathan Alves, which I actually don't know how that'll go. Gabriel's such a good. They both play such a good game plan.
Yeah.
I like Gabriel's game is more entertaining for me to watch, so I'm going to pull for him. But man, Alves is really hard to beat.
Yeah, he is.
So that'll be a fun bracket. This bracket is up in the air at men's lightweight. On to men's featherweight, we have Brian Buchecha is in this division. We have Jonathan Gomez. We have Daniel Myra in this division. We have João Gabriel Batista from the ZR team. Alexander Sodre. This is a tough division for me to pick. Let's see. This is bracket A. We Isaac Doderlin.
Yeah.
As number 2. That's why I'm looking at all the pony matches that are coming in. And we have Fabricio Andre as well on that side. And then moving into the other side of the bracket, we have Shane Jamil Hill Taylor and Kennedy Maciel and Sam Nagai on the same sides of the bracket.
Wow.
So that'll be really, really entertaining. Eddie and Shane, former world champion, who has finally come back after almost a 2-year injury layoff.
Is that what happened? Because I also knew the Lloyd Irving guys weren't competing as much in IBJJFs for a bit.
We haven't seen him as much,
yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see Shane come back. Again, he looked... What did we see him in last? Was it Pans or was it Nogi World? What was it? We saw him win something major after coming back and then basically going I still got it.
Yeah. And we have Nicholas Sales up there.
Mm-hmm. And then... Let's see. Yeah, this bracket is I think heavily leaned towards bracket 2.
Yeah, it is.
I think whoever wins between Shane and Kennedy and
I think Shane and Kennedy, if they go together, it's whoever wins that match.
Yeah,
really, in all honesty.
And I think
whoever wins that match is gonna push through. They're gonna beat whoever's on the other side.
Yeah,
of the bracket,
either Thiago Macedo or
and then bracket 1,
Oswaldo.
And they'll blow through whoever's bracket 1.
I mean, there's some good people in here.
There's some.
Sodre is really good, but I think both of those guys have a game that matches up very favorably with everyone in that first division.
Weight class.
Yeah,
their game.
He's just so hard. Best. I mean, Shane is so hard to beat at that weight class. When he's on, he is unstoppable.
But Kennedy is the same way.
Yeah, as well. Let's see. Men's light featherweight. We have Iago George. We have. Let's see. I'm looking for other names. Iago George is ranked number 1 in this division. We have Pedro Clemente.
We have Malachi's back in Malachi.
Oh yeah, Malachi Edmond. Yep. TLI. Another local guy there.
I had a couple friends go against him a million times.
Yeah, I went against him too.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. He beat that ass. It was great. That's about 4 minutes. Then he rear naked choked me.
He beat the ass of every person I've ever known that's went against him.
He's very, very good.
And then he'll smile at you and
super pleasant, super nice guy. And
very
then
awesome guy. He just murders you.
Beat me at a Naga final, and I was like, yeah, that was fun. Let's see. That was the last time I did it before I blew my knee out. The next match, I competed against him and then blew my knee out in gi. and that was the last time I competed.
Let's not talk about doing that in Naga because I'm doing Naga.
You have Naga next week. You also have Dennis Pressey Jr.
Naga's
as well.
this weekend.
Oh, this is this weekend
This
for you.
coming weekend, yeah.
Yep. Bracket 2, we have Diego Oliveira Batista. We have, let's see. What's the name? You're petting my dog. He's gonna get up on you.
I know. Well, I can't do anything about it.
There's a lot of names in here that I'm not recognizing offhand, and I'm guessing that's because...
You have the Dreamart guy.
Yeah, I'm guessing because like I don't recognize their Brazilian names.
It's difficult sometimes because they have their official name is what IBJJF has them as.
I'm gonna go Diego Oliveira here for from Cicero Costa.
What Mendez is that? João Mendez?
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
that's João Mendez.
No,
right?
it's Atos. So no, it's not different. It's the Atos João Mendez.
It's the Atos.
Yes, it's the different João Mendez. I'm gonna honestly go Diego Oliveira here.
Okay.
Or Hiago. I think we're gonna get a closeout between Hiago George and Diego Oliveira. They did it last time for the quarters, and the Meows took it. Okay. So without the Meows here, I think that's what happens again.
Okay.
Wouldn't surprise me. Moving on.
Where are the Meows at?
Probably Masters.
Yeah, they did do Masters.
Yeah, they do Masters. They may or may not do the adult anymore. On to the Roosterweight division, we have Tomoyuki Hashimoto. Let's see, who else do I recognize quickly? Michael Musumeci. That's your division. And we have Bruno Malfacine on the other side of the bracket.
Oh, yeah. Estevan Martinez versus Bruno.
I'm looking forward to that.
That'll be fun.
We have Talson Suarez in this division. We have Kleber Ribeiro in this division. We have Rodney Barbosa in this division. This is a fun division.
Yeah, this is a fun division.
Again, I think we see
Musumeci
and
the left
Bruno.
Side. And Bruno. I love some Estevan, but Bruno's
just so hard
win.
to beat. Yeah, and also Estevan has to get through Talson Suarez first.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious. I actually kind of would favor Suarez in that match.
Okay.
But again, Musumeci versus Bruno. Does Musumeci beat Bruno? I'm curious if he does.
Bruno has such a skilled game.
Bruno has the most world titles of anyone at the weight class.
Yeah.
And Musumeci killed himself to make Rooster last time. And Musumeci's been doing no-gi.
Yeah, true.
I don't know how much gi versus no-gi and how much of a difference that's going to make at the highest levels at Rooster weight.
That is true.
That is a new big X factor. Again, I'm not going to pick against Michael Musumeci. 3 in a row, only American to do it. 2 different weight classes, came down. I'm not going to pick against it, but I think we get that same final again, and I could see it going the same way. Mike has only gotten better in the last couple years, although he has a weird training situation now. I don't know. I don't want to pick against.
Yeah, with him doing a lot more no-gi recently,
and also
I go Bruno
not under
over
Kaio.
him. Yeah.
You're going to pick Bruno.
I'll go Bruno
the big upset.
Over Musumeci.
Okay. I'm going to go Musumeci, but again, a Bruno final here wouldn't surprise me. Just given how different Mikey's training has been in the last year, wouldn't surprise me. So that does it for the men's divisions. I'm not happy with half my picks there, but I think they're reasonable picks. On the women's super heavyweight division, we have Talita Nogueira in this division. We have Yana Soares Nascimento in this division. We have Gabby Garcia in this division. And we have Gabriele Pasana. I finally get her name right. So we have, that's the first round. Gabby Garcia versus Gabriela Pasana. I want to lean Garcia.
I'm going to lean Garcia.
Again, Pasana has looked good, and Garcia has looked like she's... I'm not going to use the word lost a step. Garcia looks like she has not made significant changes to her game.
I agree with
recently.
That. Yes.
And I think that she has more tape.
She has been going after more submissions.
She has. I just think that her top game that she plays and her way of getting there hasn't changed significantly. And I think there is so much tape on her, and everyone at the super heavyweight division knows and has looked. They will go in. They'll do what who beat her in gi and no gi? I'm blanking on her name. Just had a baby, I think.
Natalie?
Natalia Jesus.
Yeah.
Talked about like the changes that she made to her game, having faced her and she knew what she needed to do.
She had the baby 9 months after that match.
She did. Yes. Hibbenbar's in here though.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I think that match is super interesting to me, because does Pasana make the changes that basically Jesus was able to make?
At this point, she knows that who she's going against too.
Yes.
So she can prepare for that match.
And you can game plan for it.
You only have 2 matches, so
right.
You can definitely prepare for that match, and then just play your A game in finals.
And then she has to get through Yana Suarez. So I think the winner of Garcia and Pasana takes it. Again, Yana Suarez is amazing. Would not surprise me to have Suarez take that match, but 3 women that can absolutely trade that title.
Yeah.
And would not surprise me in the slightest. So that's a very, very fun super heavyweight division. Would love to see. I think Clay's in the division below, but
she's not. Really
what's the woman's
heavy
name? Porfirio. Would love to see Tayani in this division, but she's unfortunately not here. Women's heavyweight division, we have Maria Miliasic in the number 1 spot for the women's division. What'd you say?
Grindanetti.
Grindotti. Maggie Grindotti.
Maggie.
We have, let's see, I'm trying to look for her.
Going against Sarah Rice. I know her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a North Carolina woman. It's been around for a little bit.
We have Fernanda Mazzati Ameda Mayo in the second spot. I'm looking at her name. I can't place her, but that's probably because I'm not looking at the name.
And you have Maria Walsh. That last name.
Miliasic. Yep, at Barbosa, a local woman, ranked number 1. And we have. I kind of want to lean Maria Miliasic here.
Yeah.
Again, no upsets ever going to surprise me at Worlds.
Her versus. I don't know.
The bracket's laid out. Again, we have a lot of very, very Brazilian names that I'm struggling with on this side of the bracket for the women. Miliasic taking this would not surprise me.
No.
Again, ranked number 1, has looked very good. And aside from Clay, who I think has a toe hold over her recently, that's not in here.
Maggie's been having some problems at Black.
Some up and downs at Black.
At Black.
Moving on to the medium heavyweight division. Here we have Elizabeth Clay. Elizabeth Clay versus Chloe McNally in the first round. McNally from Unity. And Anna Carolina Vieira Sauer. Baby Vieira.
Woman from Unity.
I think we get Baby Vieira versus Elizabeth Clay in the finals. Again, Anna Carolina has to get through the winner of Fernanda Yacari and Bridget Grace, but I think that she does, and I think that Baby takes
wins.
this again.
I think Baby takes it.
Because Baby's taken this over Clay already, and I think we see her do that again.
And you don't want to put Baby in the corner.
I don't. You were going to say Miranda. I mean, to see Clay take this would not surprise me, but Anna Carolina has given me no reason to pick against her as of recently. Moving on to the women's middleweight division, we have Thamara Silva in the second spot. We have Raquel Canuto in the third place. We have Vanessa Griffin, ranked number 5th in this division, taking on Raquel Canuto. That's a fun match. That's a toss-up for me.
Yeah.
Canuto or Griffin. I want to lean Canuto on there.
I want to lean Canuto.
But it's that's a very fun match.
Griffin is a tough competitor.
Oh yeah. We've seen her over the years go through purple. She's local, so purple, brown, and black.
Yeah.
Looked very, very good. And Jessa Sintra.
Okay.
And Jessa Sintra, I think we have a final here between Jessa Sintra and Thamara Silva. Again, ranked number 1, number 2, opposite sides of the bracket. Sintra has looked really, really good, and I have no reason to pick against her in this bracket. That's my reason or rationale.
Yeah.
Onto the lightweight division, we have
Hanette Stack.
Oh wow, she's back. Where's her name? I missed. At the top there, ranked number 8. Hanette Stack is back. We have Bia Mosquito, ranked number 1 in this division.
Stack makes the first round, she goes straight into Bia Mosquito.
That's a rough. I think didn't they fight recently? Was it on fight?
No, I don't remember seeing Stack in a while.
Okay, she was on something in Brazil, I think.
Yeah.
Recently.
And then you have Margot.
Yep. Cesarelli.
Yeah.
Is in there from Unity. And then we have Fernanda Sabrina from Cicero Costa is taking on Margaret in that first match. And then the winner fights Bia. Hanat versus Bia is going to be really interesting. I think Bia is going to take that one. Yeah. On the other side of the bracket, I really think Bia takes that side of the bracket as well. So I think Bia Mosquito takes the lightweight division for the women.
She's been pretty unstoppable.
Yeah, especially at King of Mats. She looked good. Again, she did get beat at King of Mats, I think, didn't she?
She did.
But Yana Suarez is not in her division this time.
You just went cross 2.
Yeah, I looked here.
Oh, okay.
So I was just making sure I didn't say something wrong, and then the woman that beat her at King of Mats is in this, and I go, oh, I just didn't. I should have like picked that.
Yeah.
Moving on to the featherweight division for the women, we have Gabby McComb.
We have Nicole Sullivan.
Nikki Sullivan. She's featherweight? No, she's down there.
I guess she's.
Yeah.
She's. I would think that she was a little bit smaller than that, but maybe she didn't want to cut. With your gi and everything,
that'd be a fun match. Luisa Carvalho versus Nikki Sullivan. Again, Sullivan's so long for the division; she gives tons of people problems with that length. And we have Bianca Basilia in this division. So I think we're probably going to get a final. We have Bianca and Gabby McComb on opposite sides of the bracket.
Yeah.
I think Bianca probably beats the winner of Larissa Campos and Nikki Sullivan, and then takes on Gabby McComb on the other side of that division. Gabby McComb probably beats the winner of Amal Amajid, who is very good, and we've been seeing recently.
Yeah, we have.
And that upset would not surprise me. She has been on a tear.
I think Bianca.
I do too, but again, I'm watching Amal. It wouldn't surprise me to see an upset here, but I'm going to pick Bianca.
Yeah.
Although the Gabby McComb definitely has the skills to take it. For the women's featherweight division. On to the women's light featherweight division. We have Patty Fontes. We have Jessica Khan.
Tammy Musumeci.
Where's Tammy?
Right.
No, there he is. Yep, ranked number one.
Tammy
Musumeci, former world champion. I kind of want to lean Tammy here. I think she's on the left side of the bracket. I think we probably see a final between her and Jessica Khan or Anna Rodriguez from Dream Art.
I think Anna Rodriguez.
You think she takes it over Musumeci?
No, I think Anna Rodriguez is the right side of the bracket. Takes the right side of the bracket.
Okay. Yeah, I think
Jessica Khan isn't. It's not, and I'm not going against her because I don't think she's good because she's going against Patty Fontes, which Jessica Khan's probably going to beat Patty Fontes.
I think she's beat Fontes before.
And so she comes up, and then it's going to be Anna Christina versus Khan.
Yeah.
I think Anna Christina can beat Khan.
Yes.
So then she comes through, and then Musumeci's on the other side. And I think Anna Christina beats Musumeci.
Okay. I think that's very reasonable. I'm going to pick Musumeci on this. I'm more familiar with Musumeci's game. She looked very good recently at the last one, but
She did.
Yeah, I think it's a very reasonable pick for light feather.
It's also her for gi, so that's a whole nother animal.
Oh yeah. We just saw her recently in no-gi, and Tammy's historically in the gi. So, moving on to the last division for the women, we have the women's roosterweight division. We have Brenda Larissa in this division. We have Maisa Bastos on the same side of the bracket. I think when they meet up, that is probably taken by Bastos.
Yeah.
On the other side of the bracket, we have Serena Gabrielli, and we have Marina Cabral.
Yeah.
And I think that Bastos takes this.
I think Bastos.
Bastos has shown me no reason to not continue to pick Maisa Bastos.
Yeah.
As she continues to look very, very good in the roosterweight division.
I agree with that.
So that does it for IBJJF Worlds. It's a lot. It's always a lot. I knew that this was going to be a long show.
Yeah.
It always is. I had to read all of the names and try to butcher them as minimal as possible.
Yeah. And then try to remember the names that we know them by.
And then look at the names and then go reading the brackets later this week as they come out to the mat. Oh, that's that person. Oh yeah, they're gonna take that division.
Yeah.
That's always the best when I go, oh yeah, that. Oh right, they're taking.
Oh yeah,
they're taking
their
taking
name.
That.
Yeah,
they're taking that division. That's always good. So hopefully our picks were pretty good. I always enjoy making picks. What's your week look like, Miranda?
I'm gonna do Naga this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have fun. Have fun with that.
I haven't done a Naga in years.
My last one was the last time I blew my knee.
I don't have anybody in my brackets either, so it's going to be freaking...
They're going to move you somewhere.
I'm going to move somewhere.
Hey, Miranda, you want to fight a 16-year-old killer? You're like,
no.
I have to. Yep.
No, I'll take anybody. I don't really care.
That'd be fun.
That's good. Yeah, that's my weekend. And then I'm going to Alabama next week.
Ugh. Have fun with that.
Well, do you know what I did find? I did find that I found a Olympic wrestling gym. And then I also found that...
you like to travel a lot when you train.
I do. I like to train and travel. And then I also found there's a black belt female down there that I have wanted to train with. Yeah, she's down there.
Okay.
So she's in northern Florida, but the panhandle of Florida. So she's between the Olympic gym and a gym in Florida, it seems. So I'm going to see if I can find her and train with her a little bit. So
outstanding.
That'll be fun.
That should be fun. So I think we have Zach on next week, filling in for Worlds. I always love to have Zach on for the majors because he really, really enjoys doing the majors. So That is always good. I am just mostly editing this week. That's what I'm doing. And hanging out, trying to clean my house after all the festivities and promotions of this weekend.
I paid someone to clean my house.
How was that?
It was the greatest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
You were nervous last week. You told me I'm not nervous about it.
I was so nervous about it, but dude, it was the greatest feeling ever. So, my house is clean. It's wonderful.
Outstanding. So that's what I got going on this week. I got nothing else. Anything else, Miranda?
Nope, that's it.
All right. As with the show, I'm your host, Maine. It's my co-host,
Miranda.
We are the Grappling Rewind. We'll see you on the mat. Whatever that is, stay safe. If you like the show, please consider sharing it on Facebook with the folks at your gym. It's the best way that we grow the show, and we really appreciate it. You can reach out to us on email.
We also have Instagram. We have Facebook. We have Twitter. We have Google+.
Until that shuts down.
We have a website.
If you have an event you would like to have us cover, please let us know. If you have a name, like most people do, and you'd like to have us stop butchering it,
let us know.
Reach out to us. The show is also available on YouTube, Spotify, in addition to iTunes and every other podcast service. We very much appreciate your time, and thank you.